Once you have created posts using Associate Goliath, I then recommend actually going through all of your posts. You can get a list of them right here and edit each of them to make some manual adjustments to it. One of the biggest and most important of these changes that you can make is actually going to involve the title of this post. Think about it this way. You have a lot of affiliates that are going to be using this plugin. Beyond that, though, the information that this plugin is using to create these pages is going to be information that even more affiliates than that have access to. So with that said, it's important to make some customizations to this information. Otherwise, you will simply be one in a sea of many with essentially this exact same page on your website. If you want to get any kind of Google traffic onto this website, and especially directly to your product pages that are created by Associate Goliath, the title then becomes one of the most important things that you can customize, because all of the other posts created for this same product, whether it's using Associate Goliath or one of a lot of other plugins that can pull this same information from Amazon, they're all going to have the same title. And likely they're all going to have the same URLs as well. So what I will generally do is try to customize this title as much as I can. Now, by default, I actually had a really long title here. I've already wiped out a lot of the stuff that was there and shrunk it down to the basic brand and model of the product. And then along with that, I'm also using some descriptive keywords that tell people what kind of product it is. So it is a wireless USB microphone headset. Now I could also try to include other keywords like review, for example. You can also try to get a little more creative with your title, especially if you have some kind of hands-on experience with that product. You might not simply want to do the basic brand model keyword phrase format here. However, as long as you're doing something other than the default title that's already going to be there, you will make out a lot better than 99% of the other affiliates. Now, something that comes along with the title, at least in WordPress here, is also the URL of the page. Personally, I like to have a short URL that is meaningful for the product. So a lot of times this will just be the brand and the model of the product. So in this case, it's Sennheiser Office Runner. So I actually edited my title and shrunk it down to just use these two words, because this is basically what my page is about. It is about this product. So I don't need all of that extra keyword fluff in there in my URL. I'm still going to have those keywords in my title, and I'm still going to have those keywords throughout my page content. So it's not necessary to repeat them over and over and over again every possible place you get the opportunity. Now, beyond the basic information here for the page, we also have our page content. If you have any firsthand knowledge about this product whatsoever, I'd really recommend trying to wipe out a large portion of this existing review and replacing it with your own personal review instead. Some of the things that you could try to leave behind, though, might be some of the basic features or technical specs of the product. For example, right here we have some features of this particular product. Beyond that, though, the information that you can give personally about a product in terms of your experiences using it, how much you might like it after a prolonged period of time, and especially even how it has held up over that course of time. This kind of information is really important to consumers. These are the kind of things that they want to know ahead of time, and often they can't get this from the vendor. The vendor's not generally going to be completely upfront about that kind of information. So if you can give your consumers, your website readers, the helpful information that they need to actually decide if a product is right for them and what they want to use it for, you're going to be a lot more likely to refer sales on that product. On top of that, though, by making all this content customization, you're also going to give yourself a much, much better chance of ranking good in search engines. Now, beyond simply removing content or editing the text that might already be here, there are other features in Associate Goliath having to do with the content, and you can find all those actually down below in these three separate boxes. You have fairly basic information, technical details and product details that are already provided for you down here. But again, this information is coming from Amazon, so you're not going to be the only one with this information on your website. And you're definitely not going to be the only one with this information on your site in this exact same format. So if you can make any customizations to this or rearrange the information or add in your own features that you know are missing from this information, you will again be customizing it without having to necessarily do all of the work that is there. And sometimes there's certain bits of information like this one here, date first available at Amazon.com. You may not need some of this information, so you could actually choose to completely remove it if you wanted to. So for example, I could click on this one and I can delete selected and I can remove that from my list. This one right here is not formatting correctly, so I could adjust that. And it's also talking about clicking here for warranty information. It's not actually going to be a clickable link right here. So again, certain little things like this can go a long way to making your site more user-friendly and to not kind of stopping them dead in their tracks and saying, okay, is this site broken? It says click here and clicking here is not doing anything. So I actually happen to know that this product comes with a 3-year warranty. And if you have anything wrong with it, you simply return damaged product and they send a new one right away. No waiting for repairs. So once again, you can see how I've taken what was going to be a bad moment potentially for my viewers and I've turned it into useful information, information that's going to help them to feel good about the product, simply because I know a little bit about it. And, if you don't know about these products, go do some research on them. Look at the information that's on Amazon. Read through what people say in the customer reviews. Go out on Google and search for additional information on the product. And if you can, call a local retail store or call a website that sells this product and ask them questions about it as though you're a consumer. You can actually get a lot of great information that way by kind of playing undercover detective, so to speak. So in addition to adjusting and tidying up and maybe even adding items to the technical details and the product details, you also have this little link right here, add extra content in associate Goliath post. If you click on this, it's not actually giving you any place here to add in extra content. Instead though, what's actually contained within this box here is information to teach you how to add extra content to your product review page in specific locations. The reason why you would want to utilize these shortcodes instead of simply editing or adding content to the WordPress editor that you can see back behind this window is because not all of the content that's on the page can actually be found in that editor. If I look at this page, this content right here that I've selected, this text, this is actually the only content that is located in this editor window right here. All of the rest of the stuff up here and then even down below, your technical details, the product details, the customer reviews, all of that information is being generated again by Associate Goliath. So these shortcodes here can actually allow you to add content before or after a number of those different locations that are in a product review page. So I want to select this list of shortcodes here. So I can show you a quick example of each of them to give you an idea of exactly what's going to be happening with them and also how you can utilize them on your own product review pages. So what I'm going to do is just go to the bottom of my content, and I have these different shortcodes that I pasted in. I'm just going to use this as a reference. Now what I'm going to do for each shortcode here is type this in. You have an opening and a closing bracket along with the inner text for this shortcode. And there's no spacing or anything like that within this shortcode. All you have is letters and hyphens to separate the words. Now, anytime you use a shortcode, you're going to have a matching shortcode to close it. However, that matching shortcode needs to have a / in front of the words. So you can see right here, all still contained within this second set of brackets, I have / AG top now. So I'm just going to type in the words top content now. I'm going to continue on and do the same thing for each of these other shortcodes now. So you can actually see where this is going to show up. So what I'm doing now is adding in content in between each of these shortcodes. So this would be how you add in your own content to specific areas. This content can be text content. It could even be HTML coding, things like links, for example. All that stuff can also go inside of these shortcodes. So as you can see here, the only thing I really change with each one is the text for the shortcode itself. And this lets Associate Goliath know exactly where you want this information to show up. Just about finished up here, and then we will get to see all this stuff in action. Alrighty, I'm going to remove my little reference content from the bottom, and now I'm going to update my page. Now when I go and refresh the page on my website, you'll be able to see each of these different sections showing up. So now you can see the top content here is showing up above everything else with the exception of the title of my page and the YouTube videos if you have provided the Google API information. So if I want to have introductory information as far as the content of my page, this would be kind of the primary location that I would recommend to put custom content. If you wanted to retain everything else that was already here on this page, but you wanted to add in some of your own custom content to each product review, this would be the one location. If you were only going to do one, this would be the one place to do it, would be for your top content. So again, to achieve that, I used the AG top shortcode, and then whatever I would want as my top content, I simply put in there. So I could say something like, as an avid maker of YouTube videos and the host of online webinars, the Sennheiser Office Runner is my preferred microphone because of the crystal clear audio quality, long-lasting battery, and comfortable headset. Now, any customization that you are going to do like this, I would recommend to do a little more than what you see here, especially if you are going to retain all of the other text that's on the page. Consider how much is there, and then consider how much custom text you will be adding in yourself. You want to have this text essentially outweigh your automated text that pretty much everybody's going to have access to. That way, your pages actually have something different to offer than what everyone else is going to have. Now, you might also notice something like the spacing here If you want to have things like blank lines within your information, you can simply put in a blank line within your shortcode. That actually is not creating extra space. It might not be recognizing a change on my page. Okay, it looks like in these shortcodes at least, it appears as though it will not actually recognize a blank line like that. You might actually have to switch over to the text tab to accomplish this kind of thing. So now instead of doing a blank line, what I'm actually doing here, I've switched over to the text tab, which allows me to edit HTML. And so I can put in a line break. This is a less than symbol, the letters BR, and then I use a space and a forward slash and then a greater than symbol. So doing something like this should put my text down, yes, on a blank line finally. So then if I wanted 2 blank lines and maybe even a couple of blank lines after it, I could do something like this. So as you can see, you can create extra spacing and stuff like that. You can do special HTML coding and designing to enhance this kind of information that you're adding in to the content to actually get all this stuff to look correct. So then beyond that top text, as you can see, there's other locations here that I've added in before the rating, and here's the rating of the product. Before the price, here's the price of the product. And then going down the page even more, we have information after the technical details. And again, those technical details are created right here. And then we have our product details. And then we also have a section after the product details. Finally, all the way down after the reviews, we have after reviews, and then we even have a bottom content that's going to go below the final add to cart button. So if you wanted to have some closing custom content, either in the after review section or in the bottom content section would be a good place to do that. So with that said, and having shown you each of these shortcode locations that this plugin can utilize, the AG top, AG-top, and then also AG-after-reviews, and also AG-bottom. These two down here and the one up here at the top, these are kind of my 3 recommended ones in terms of the most likely places you might want to make some customizations or add in some of your own unique content. And again, this is especially assuming that you don't want to wipe out all of the existing content that's already there. When you add in a decent amount of unique content up to the top of your post, and then you also have some unique content down at the bottom of your post, which could even be in the after review section. That way, if you do your bottom content in the after review section, your buy button will actually be below this content. Whereas if you do it in this bottom content section, the buy button will end up being above all of that. So that buy button will no longer be down at the bottom of the page. I try to keep a buy button down at the bottom of my product review pages, or at least some kind of an affiliate link down there. So people that have concluded my page have an easy way to get to buy that product. So think about where these different locations show up within this content, and also consider what kind of information you might want to be adding to your actual page. For me personally, again, like I said, I have a lot of experience with this specific product. I use it almost on a daily basis, and I've been using it for well over a year. And I'm actually even recording this video, the audio with this for this video with it right now. So personally, I could wipe out every single bit of this content that's coming from Amazon, and I could replace this with my own in-depth review about this product without any problem at all. I could do all this off the top of my head because I already know all of this information. If that is not the case with you and the products that you're going to be promoting, again, your two options are to keep the content that's there, try to add in a decent amount of custom content to your top section, and then maybe even add some custom content to the after review section. That way you'll keep your add to cart button at the bottom. This way, the automated content that will be found on other affiliate websites out there will no longer be the star of this page. And in fact, when, say, Google comes to your page and goes to index it, this top content is actually going to end up being the main focus that Google's looking at, instead of it focusing on this content. So you always want Google to find your unique content before it finds any content that you know another website is likely going to have. This is how you get the best potential results, and also maybe put in the least amount of work possible for building out these product pages using Associate Goliath.